Mr. Shulgin, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you're here because I've been wondering something this week, and I think you're the person to answer that question. Why is your country bombing innocent women and children in Ukraine?
I see the picture in your studio, and I just brought also some materials. A couple of days, world media published sinister photo of maternity ward in Mariupol with
the children's hospital, yes.
Yes, pregnant women, lots of casualties. Actually, we are faced with huge disinformation effort.
You're saying it's not true?
It's not true. Our permanent representative in New York gave necessary information. This maternity ward had been seized by nationalistic battalion.
So it's all fake. I'm going to interrupt you there. I want to show you some images. I want to show you some images. We can discuss this later. I'm going to show you some images of this week. That's been only this week, and this children's ward will be in it. So, your Minister Lavrov said that up until now everything is going to plan. Is this the plan?
You mean, is our operation going ahead as planned? Yes.
Killing innocent people, as the UN states, or Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch?
What I am telling you, this is special operation, and Russian
we call
military,
it a war, you call it a special
Russian
operation.
military do not target civilian population. The only target is military infrastructure.
This is something that is being denied by Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, and the UN has repeatedly warned you this week that if a continuous attack on innocent people constitutes as a war crime. You know this.
Let me just illustrate what I said about the disinformation war. We saw this picture of pregnant women, maternity ward in Mariupol.
These are all actors.
On front pages, New York Times and other media. Well, actually, this is only one woman. She is featured here, rushing down the stairwell. Here she changed clothes and she's been brought on the stretcher.
But you're showing this to me, but if you have any real evidence that it's not as been stated, why did you show it to me? I'm just a journalist in the Netherlands. Why don't you show it to the United Nations?
Yes, it has been shown. It has been shown.
And do they believe you? From what I know, they warn you that if you continue this, it constitutes as a war crime.
I leave you these materials, and you will see many, many comments.
And the comments make it true.
The list of them is a bloody comedian. How much did you get paid? So it's a very...
If it's all fake, Mr. Shulgin, how do those bodies get there? Are they all actors? It's all a conspiracy?
We, again, don't fight civilian population.
So all the images of bombings of civilian areas, of residential flats, they are fake?
Let me put it this way. Nationalistic battalions, they are using civilian population as a human shield. We had seen many pictures, destroyed houses, devastation, and actually it was the fire by the nationalistic battalions, Ukrainian forces, as the Donetsk Republic armed forces.
Yes, you've said that. We're going in circles here because I say the United Nations is warning you. The WHO has said that you have attacked so far 29 health centers in Ukraine. I mean, why are you attacking health centers?
This is simply not true.
So the WHO is lying,
there are proofs,
and the United Nations are lying.
There are proofs to the contrary. Recently,
if there is real proof, they apparently don't believe you.
We presented many proofs that Kiev regime is in gross violation of the humanitarian international law.
So you turn it around and you say Ukraine is in violation.
Can I ask you one question? Russian military have been consistently proposing to open corridors, humanitarian corridors.
The corridors all lead to Russia, you know this, and the people don't want to go to Russia, they want to go to the West. Also, you're bombing the corridors.
I remember Lady Vereshchuk from the Ukrainian government. I guess she was vice prime minister, and she was very frustrated, saying that the human corridors are leading to Belarus, to the Russian Federation. This can't work. Well, if it is about saving human lives, why?
Because people might have their own prerogative and might want to choose where they want to go to, and not to the aggressor?
Look, man. They are not letting people
going
out of Mariupol. They are shooting in the back on them.
Do you feel any compassion for the victims in Ukraine?
Every human life is precious.
So you feel some compassion?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Any human life is precious.
The innocent life lost?
Including innocent life.
Then why has your Ministry of Defense admitted the use of thermobaric bombs, bombs that are known to suck the oxygen out of our lungs, and bombs that are known to make many, many, many victims? Why does Russia use those?
This question had been asked by BBC journalist to one of British military experts quite a couple of days, and he said, these vacuum bombs are absolutely authorized. This is not an inhuman weapon. This is...
you say it's not an inhuman weapon. It's a perfectly fine weapon sucking the air out of people's lungs.
This is a weapon which is used when it is about getting enemy from subterranean refugees.
A few weeks ago, you were in the Dutch TV show Nieuwsuur, and you said the following. It's a very short clip. Let's have a look.
Do you regard Ukraine a sovereign country?
Yes, it is.
So it's a sovereign country, yet you're bombing it. Your country is bombing and invading it. Why?
Well, actually, not completely sovereign country, because this country
there are nuances in how sovereign you can be, apparently.
Yes,
and it's up to Russia to decide exactly how sovereign you are.
This is the country which is placed under external management, and it's quite clear that Kiev regime does not take decisions without previous consultations with Washington, with
and they're not allowed to do that, in your view. If they are truly sovereign, I mean, they're allowed to do anything they want.
They are sovereign partially, but most important decisions have been dictated by their American protectors.
Do you recognize President Zelensky as a democratically elected president?
Well, actually, he was elected in 2019 over the promise to bring the peace to Donbas region.
Yeah, that didn't work because he got invaded.
It did not work because he was absolutely influenced by nationalistic ideas.
He did not invade Russia. Russia invaded his country.
Do you know how he called the people from Donbas region? He called them species, and one of his...
if this is about the Donbass, Mr. Shulgin, why are the tanks rolling up to Kiev? Why are they bombing Lviv?
Actually, we have not been left with much choice.
They made you do it. That's a really excellent form of argumentation, isn't it?
Not choice at all.
Oh, I can't be helped.
Not
I can't be helped.
at all. We launched this special operation in order to protect the people of Donbas.
Yes, but you're in Kiev.
And the goal of this special operation
You're bombing Kiev, you're bombing Zhytomyr, you're bombing Mariupol, you're bombing Lviv.
We are bombing, we are shelling only military infrastructure. Let's put it clear. I will show you the...
And we've countered this, so let's put that aside, because we've talked about that. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, the UN, the WHO all say that residents have been hit. But let's come to something else, because in this show, in Newsroom, you also mentioned, don't forget, Russia is also a nuclear power. Now, why did you say that? Was that a threat?
Well, you are referring to the statement made by
you
President
in that particular
Putin.
show.
He warned the US and other NATO countries from interfering with us, saying, if you interfere with us, there will be retaliation, and Russian forces of dissuasion have been put on special alert.
Are you threatening to bomb any EU member states?
No, we are not threatening, and this is just a reminder of how dangerous things could be.
So if you are bombing, it will be our own fault because we made you do it?
Again, this is military operation, and the only targets are the military one. You kept saying that this is horror, Russians are killing. But let me cite you another example in Mariupol. It happened maybe 3 or 4 days ago. Crowd of people driven by Ukrainian nationalists, and they were used as actually the human shield.
They can't leave Mariupol because Russian troops won't let them leave.
They did not let them leave the Mariupol.
Are you...
Please bear in mind that Russians were willing to open the humanitarian corridors.
Yeah. In a way that people don't want to go. We've been on that. Is the use of chemical weapons by Russia in Ukraine an option?
It's just the other way around.
The UN has stated there is no evidence that Ukraine is developing biochemical weapons. Are you planning to use biochemical weapons?
Just the contrary, the other way around. We learned that Ukrainians have unloaded huge barrels, 200 liters with...
that has been disputed by the United Nations. I'm asking you if Russia is planning to use those on the people of Ukraine.
Contractors, private contractors from the state of Nevada. And while unloading these huge barrels, 4 Ukrainian servicemen have been burned, hugely burned. They had been injured with chemical
Mr. Shulgin,
substance.
Where does this end? Does this end with the total destruction of Ukraine? Is Kiev next? Is it Mariupol first and then Kiev? Are you going to destruct the whole country?
This will end as soon as we reach our goals of denazifying Ukraine and...
Denazifying a country that's led by a Jewish president whose family has fought in the war against the Nazis, but yeah, taken there. Does this end? Do the people in Ukraine end up like all the people in Mariupol with the total destruction of the country?
There will be no total destruction. We are not willing to occupy this country. Our goal is to just get the Nazi out of the chain of command. You know, for many years...
Mr. Shulgin, you're a representative of your government. I understand that. But you're also a human being. Ukrainians are your neighbors. Is there anything you want to say to the people in Ukraine?
Please bear in mind that during many years, neo-Nazi and people who were supporting them have been trying to create some kind of anti-Russia on the borders of...
Is there anything you want to say to the people that are scared in their flats because they're bombed every night?
Extremely hostile against the Russian Federation.
It's their own fault, their collateral damage.
Why aren't you asking me the question about biological laboratories?
We have this thing that I ask the questions and you give the answers. That's kind of how we do it here. And you're not answering my question. Is there anything you want to say to the Ukrainians?
This was about very dangerous plan of creating biological
you have made that point
weapons,
very clear. Mr. Shulgin, you've made that point. We've discussed it. You've shown your pictures. Thank you so much for coming to Buitenhof.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bedankt voor het kijken. Vond je dit een goed gesprek? Vergeet je dan niet te abonneren. Een like of reactie achterlaten kan natuurlijk ook. Of bekijk een van de andere interviews op dit kanaal.